We got lots of Tesla stock news today. Let's go through everything. After the launch of the upgraded Model 3, Tesla's official website in China started to crash due to the high volume of orders placed instantly. Here's someone trying to place an order, and the website says, "Whoops, I'm afraid I can't do that." This is not great, but it's a great problem to have. This is a sign that the refreshed Model 3 is a big success in China, at least so far. Despite the production shift to the refreshed Model 3 in China, it seems that production is still very high. Look at all of these vehicles in Giga Shanghai. This is amazing. Specifically, this is a port near Giga Shanghai. In China, Tesla cut price of the Model S and X by up to $27,500. And Tesla owners in China issued this joint statement requesting compensation because their cars just lost a lot of value. On the other hand, the release of the new Tesla Model 3 in China with a price hike of about 4,000 USD, 30,000 yuan over the old model was so unexpected to most Chinese users that netizens chimed in to say, just wait a little longer. I understand some people are really upset because Tesla cut prices and now their vehicle is worth less money, but were these people also complaining earlier than their vehicles got more expensive because Tesla kept increasing prices? Here's a new Giga Mexico update. The environmental group is now gone, so clearly there is progress that is being made. The Texas 4680 battery cathode building looks more complete now. There are still many things that need to be done, of course, but scaling the 4680 production is extremely important to Tesla, and this is a good step forwards. A few countries in Europe reported Tesla's deliveries. Italy, for example, just had its second best month ever. I'm of course happy to see this. France is an important market for Tesla in Europe, and it looks pretty good actually. Compared to any previous quarter in France so far, we are doing better than ever. So even though Tesla is lagging slightly behind the previous quarter in the daily reporting markets, which account for the minority of Tesla sales in Europe, Tesla could still have a record quarter in Europe, possibly, if these bigger countries like France do better. But with Model 3 not really being available for the rest of a quarter to be purchased in Europe, this is going to be very difficult to do. So I'm keeping my expectations for European deliveries this quarter relatively low. But next quarter, if the refresh Model 3 has a good production ramp, the next quarter could be huge. James says in a few days we will likely learn from August sales that Europe had its best second month of a quarter ever following July, which was its best first month of the quarter ever. And we also know that China is having its best quarter ever. So 470,000 deliveries, possibly still in play. Also, no doubt, Model 3 sales will be a little bit slower in the US unless Tesla discounts the Model 3 significantly, because everyone now knows you can get a refresh Model 3 relatively soon if you can wait for maybe a few months, maybe until early next year. And Europe has no Model 3s left, so it's really up to China to sell all of these Model 3s, these new ones, for us to have another record quarter globally. And we don't know exactly yet how smooth the ramp is going to be of the new Model 3s in China. So based on all of this new information this quarter, I am keeping my expectations a little bit lower, but next quarter, I think we can do much better. The big question is, though, when exactly will we get the refresh Model 3 in the US? That will matter to Tesla. There's also one more worry, and that is the refresh Model 3 will slow down Model Y sales, or certainly there will be a little bit of a headwind because we now know that the Model Y will certainly be refreshed as well. Based on all of the rumors that we had earlier this year, it's scheduled for next year around this time. So if you are a person that can wait, you will probably wait. But you will probably end up paying a little bit more money for that newer vehicle. Here are some mega packs that were installed in Europe, specifically in Austria. I think there is a good chance indeed that Tesla will export mega packs from China, from the factory that it's building there right now, to Europe. There's an interesting rumor here. I can't say too much, but I can confirm that Full Self-Driving 12 is already being tested in Europe and it is performing amazing. I wouldn't read too much into it other than that Full Self-Driving version 12 is going to be coming to Europe later as well. Interestingly, the media is leading with price cuts on 4% of Tesla's shipping portfolio versus the new product launch of the updated Model 3 that has much higher volume and now costs more money. This seems like good news. A new ceiling system, dual pane acoustic glass front and rear, new door latches, upgraded sound insulation, autopilot hardware 4.0, and a few other updates are coming to the Model Y soon. It seems that the new Model 3 Highland performance will be launched in the fourth quarter at Giga Shanghai. I'm wondering if Tesla is actually going to make this vehicle faster than the previous Model 3 performance, or if it's just going to be the exact same speed as the previous one, but with just all of the new little upgrades and a little bit more range. Also, we now know that the new Model 3 has just over 5% more storage space than the old Model 3. It's unclear where exactly that 5% is coming from, but of course, this is a very welcome improvement. All inventory standard range Model 3s are gone in China. Those who placed deposits for old Model 3s but whose orders couldn't be fulfilled were told to cancel their reservations and order the refresh Model 3, or they can get their deposits back. Look at that steep drop of inventory in China for the Model 3. Tesla is now hiring directly on X. It shows all of these job listings like this. However, when I go to that account, I don't see any job listings. Maybe that's because I'm located in Canada and they don't want to hire anyone in Canada. Tesla is sending out emails to California customers reminding them to take advantage of the California Clean Vehicle Rebate while funds are still available. In one of my businesses, we use email marketing, and I know some think that this is a very old way of marketing and it's not effective, but I'm able to get 50% open rates on the emails that I send. I don't think Tesla is going to get open rates like that, but email marketing is still pretty effective. However, James has a pretty good point here. How about all of the people who haven't provided Tesla an email address? How will they see this email? And so another debate has just started about Tesla price cuts versus Tesla advertising. James here concluded that Model S and X are way too cheap for the value they bring. The issue is no one knows it. And James just called Cathie Wood a moron because Tesla cuts price in China because it can, not because it has to, says Cathie Wood. And Cathie added that for every cumulative doubling in the number of units produced, costs declined 28%. Then James compares the BMW i5 to the Tesla Model S, and the BMW now, after these huge price cuts, is more expensive. And on top of that, you need to pay $3,500 for features that come standard with the Model S, for example, heated seats. And the BMW only has 250 miles of range. It does 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, so that's all right. But the Model S is quite a bit faster and it has a lot more range. However, I am yet to meet a person who had many BMWs before who said, yeah, the interior of Teslas is of higher quality, the materials are better, the leather is better. I don't think this is actually a fair comparison. If you are just shopping for maximum value, yeah, Tesla is, I think, a clear winner here. But if you are shopping for luxury, if you don't mind the lower range and the slower speed, then you may like the BMW. So when the Tesla was more expensive than the BMW, I think the BMW was actually more appealing to some people that specifically like this sense of luxury in their car. But I think how Tesla is positioning itself is, it's not a luxury vehicle really, it's more of a vehicle that is actually practical and useful. This is the most useful vehicle that you can buy, is basically what Tesla is trying to say here, I think. And it's also the faster vehicle. So if you like speed and you like the vehicle to actually be the most useful it can be, I think Tesla is the way to go. And I know some people will say that having the best tech is the most important part of luxury, but many people don't think like that. To many, this will be more luxurious than this. I'm not talking about Tesla fans, I'm just talking about the general public here. Another thing that I personally don't really like about the Model S and X, which still is a bit surprising, how come there's no 360 camera? Any BMW, any Mercedes has that, Tesla does not have that. The Model 3 and the Model Y are cheaper vehicles, but the Model S and X, yeah, that's I think many people don't like it when they shop for vehicles. However, if you shop for just pure value, I think Tesla has by far the best value proposition. James then listed a lot of other EVs from Audi, BMW, and Mercedes. And he says that Tesla is too cheap, but I say all of these cars are still too expensive if we compare them to gasoline-powered vehicles. These cars still need to get cheaper. And Stephen Mark Ryan has a few thoughts about Tesla's pricing long-term. When I first published my valuation model in 2021, I had estimates for the base price long-term of all Tesla models, including the next generation at $25,000 and a subsequent generation at $18,000. I also have Model 3 and Model Y base price at $35,000 long term. My estimates for base price have not changed since I first published the model. The prices are not inflation adjusted, so keep that in mind. They also assume 25 to 30% gross auto margins. These estimates are for the long-term base prices, not the initial base price when first released. I expect by late this decade, consumers will be able to buy a compelling Tesla comparable to today's Model 3 or Y starting around $18,000, and Tesla will make 25 to 30% gross margin, maybe more. That said, I do not believe people are thinking about this the right way. I am confident Tesla's cost to produce a compelling EV will follow my predictions. The real question is, what price will Tesla need to sell the vehicles at, as possible cost will plummet, but market clearing price will hit a floor eventually and remain constant thereafter. Looking at how competitive the Chinese are, I don't think Tesla will be able to sustain 30% gross margins unless China is just completely blocked off from the rest of the world and they can't export their vehicles anywhere. One more thing about the refresh Model 3, you know these parking sensors when you park that make a beeping noise? Well, the new Tesla Model 3 will not have these, but if we have a camera in the front, I don't mind it. Supposedly there is a camera right here, but I just haven't seen anyone use it yet. The Model 3 worldwide search interest is still meaningfully higher than recent average after the refresh announcement. And remember, it hasn't been announced in North America yet, so I expect that to peak again, and I expect it to keep coming down slowly for now. Interestingly, if you refer a friend to a refresh Model 3 and they purchase through your link, you will not get any points from Tesla. I think once the demand cools up a little bit, they will add Model 3 Highland to the program as well. With the drastic cuts on the high end, Tesla has decided to give the high-end EV market to others. Tesla is focused on mass production like Ford in the 1920s and less on margins and luxury. I don't think I would say that Tesla is just giving the market away. I think when Mercedes or Audi or any of these higher-end brands see Tesla cut prices like that, I don't think they say, yeah, Tesla is just giving its market share away. No, I think they're saying, some of these customers are now going to go to Tesla that would have come to us. Because also, one way to define luxury if you're road tripping on an EV is having a battery that will last you a very long time, so that you don't need to stop as often as you would have needed if your battery only had 250 miles of range, as is the case with a lot of these higher end luxury EVs. But also, Ross does have a point, and I think Teslas don't feel as luxurious as some of these other cars, for example, from, let's say, BMW. Luxury, of course, is subjective, but that's how many people will think about it. Ross says they sell 80,000 a year of S and X and used to have high margins and top-of-the-line Teslas. Now the other Teslas are just as good. Why spend more for an S when the new 3 is basically the same, maybe better? I think you get the S if you want the bigger car. And if you want the fastest car, then of course you get the S. Also, the S is actually a hatchback and the 3 is still a sedan. There's no way I would say that the Model 3 is better than the Model S. It's a better value proposition, sure, but overall, is it a better car? I don't think so. Fund Manager Ross continues, I doubt Tesla has any TV ads planned for the beginning of football season. It's time to accept the reality that everyone on Twitter who wants a Tesla has one. Now the general public should know, be educated about the great Tesla EV giveaway. And Farzad says that Tesla is advertising on Google Ads network right now as we speak for the Model S and X. And actually, there have been more ads on the Google network in the recent weeks. But Ross says it's boring. AdWords is lazy. How about football with millions watching? It would have a huge positive impact for Tesla. We have a new nice picture of the front of a Cybertruck. Yeah, the front looks pretty good to me. Now, one thing that I hope Tesla eventually figures out in the future is how to make this a little bit lower so you can actually comfortably sit right here. Right now, you can see that there's this thing that's sticking out, so I don't think you can really comfortably sit here. But in the future, if you can, oh, this would be great. Unless you are really tall and you would bump your head into the hood. James says that he thinks the Shanghai Mega Factory will be operational in under 9 months. They are sandbagging. So Tesla could start producing Megapacks there relatively quickly, and especially with a CATL factory next door, the ramp, at least I would expect, is going to be smoother and faster than the ramp of Lathrop. I think there is a good chance that overall that factory is going to surprise in the long term on the upside. And now it is official. The Cybertruck can definitely tow, as you can see right here. They are probably testing how far can the Cybertruck go when towing. I think that's the purpose of this. There is a heated discussion happening on X right now about Tesla lowering FSD pricing. Alex, for example, says it is a sensible and absolutely logical move for Tesla to lower FSD prices from $15,000 to $12,000 right now when the new Model 3 is released. The upgraded Model 3 until it is produced in larger numbers will put short-term pressure on profit margins, and an FSD price cut that has a 90 to 98% profit margin will help Tesla offset that pressure. The margin and profit concern many express is a misinterpretation of what Tesla has done. Tesla has laid the foundation to achieve mid and long term a 30 to 40% profit margin, and everyone is missing it. Alex also continues here, I posted before that the cost for the Model 3 update will be lower and margins higher, but like with every ramp, at the beginning you by definition have lower margins, and based on the leaks that we have seen in the last 6 months, it is expected that the total cost to make the refresh Model 3 is going to be lower once it is fully ramped. But in one of these leaks also, we have seen that Tesla expects the margins temporarily to actually be lower for the Model 3. One more reason why I think Tesla cut prices of full self-driving is because Tesla needs more data for FSD version 12, especially from hardware for cars. Also, I think it is incredibly safe to assume that this year, full self-driving is not going to become safer than human driving. Otherwise, why would Tesla cut prices of full self-driving right now? Because once Tesla solves full self-driving, I think these one-time prices of full self-driving are going to jump a lot. Now, the subscription price may not really increase, maybe it will actually even decrease, but the one-time purchase price of full self-driving, I think, will increase drastically. I finally found a video that shows you pretty well how easy it is to adjust all of the colors on the inside of the new refresh Model 3. You can have any color you like, basically. If you ever see anyone talk about Project Mario, just know that they are talking about Giga Mexico. That's the new code name. Unfortunately, death by 1,000 cuts in car models and now FSD 2 continues to impact near-term Tesla stock and overshadows a monumental refresh of the Model 3. Hopefully, reports of the Model 3 demand skyrocketing will blunt some of this negative investor sentiment from more price cuts. I fear we may need to wait to see actual margins improving in Q4 financials after a full quarter of Model 3 manufacturing efficiencies show up in financials. Cybertruck unveiling is a wild card, says Emmett. To me, and on near-term stock prices, Wall Street may want to see it ramp up and show its profitability too before giving much credit to Tesla valuation for Cybertruck. In other words, there's a possibility that the Tesla stock sale could be extended. Emmett has a pretty interesting point here. If Tesla had spent even just 10% of the opportunity cost the price cuts have represented on margins, then price cuts would never have been necessary, and the Tesla mission would have been advanced faster as the general public would be transitioning their interest/demand to EVs across the board faster because they would be better informed about EVs in general by now. I think what he means by that is because there would be so much more demand for EVs, other automakers would be transitioning a little bit faster to EVs as well. They would be investing more money because Tesla so far has sold every EV it has made, but at much lower prices. So the total number of Teslas is still the same either way, but there would probably be more other EVs on the roads. At least I think that's the point that he's trying to make here. Above is super obvious to me, but for some reason, some sense of pride in not having to advertise got in the way in my opinion. It's all semantics though, just change the word advertise to educate in this case, and it makes perfect sense to spend some of Tesla's cash to educate the public, which would rise the entire tide for the entire EV transition, and it would of course make the competition stronger. So as a selfish Tesla stock investor, I would personally still prefer for Tesla to start advertising once we don't want any more price cuts in the long term. With every single price cut that Tesla implements, it is so much harder for other competition to come in and try to compete with Tesla. It certainly hurts Tesla's margins in the short term, and therefore it hurts the Tesla stock price in the short term, but in the long term, I model Tesla until 2033, and I don't think it will have much of an effect what Tesla does today with its pricing and advertising on what Tesla is going to do in 2033. Because whether Tesla starts to advertise now or a few years from now, I don't think it really makes much of a difference in the end in 2033. But if you are investing with a shorter time horizon than 10 years, then yeah, I certainly see your point. However, Tesla not advertising right now and just doing more price cuts in the long term, I think just hurts the competition so much more than it hurts Tesla that in the end, this actually benefits Tesla if you have a long time horizon. Mercedes-Benz teases an entry-level electric CLA concept with a new front face and 466 miles of range. We have heard a lot of promises from, for example, BMW years ago about their vehicles having extremely good ranges, and then the vehicle comes out and it's very disappointing. So until I actually see the car, I'm not keeping my hopes up. Oh, and remember that discount that Lucid started earlier, which was supposed to end at the end of August? Well, it has been extended until the end of September, and then it will be extended probably until the end of October, and then until the end of November, and then December. You get the point. Especially now that Tesla cut the Model S prices. Ooh, that discount is going to be extended probably permanently. And YouTube says you should watch this video next, but if you haven't finished watching this Elon Musk interview, watch this one first. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.